Do you think you ruffled any feathers along the way?
I might have. I'm
sure there is no doubt about that.
Hello, Manisha ji. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am amazing. I'm so happy I'm sitting next to you. Hi, Fatima.
Hello. So good to see you again.
You
but
as
on
well.
a different side.
On a different side. It's good to be on this side and you on the other side as well.
For you.
For me. Not for you. Are you not excited?
Sat next to a superstar who's used to interviews. I'm not used to being on this side.
You're going to be brilliant. So let's start by talking about why you're here today in London.
So I'm here because of Fatima, and let her say.
Well, I will let you say.
She is here because firstly she's a remarkable woman. Mm-hmm. The reason why she was here was, for us as a newspaper, our theme was all about adversity and overcoming, triumphing, succeeding. When it came to picking somebody from the industry that Manisha ji comes from, but also from Nepal heritage and obviously of Indian heritage, it was a no-brainer. It was very easy. It was so easy for us to just pick that one person out to say she must be recognised for her body of work, because as we know, when she started in the 90s, if you're as old as I am, watching those films,
I am.
Great. So you'll relate that she was way ahead of her times. It was a no-brainer to invite her to receive a special honour at the Houses of Parliament to celebrate her, her achievements, her successes, and how she has become this strong woman who's overcome some incredible obstacles, which I'm sure she'll talk about.
I'm glad you kind of set the base, because those were the questions that I wanted to ask you as well. You know, when we prepare for such interviews, it's always directed towards a project or a film. So the conversations become kind of constrained, but when I was prepping for this, I was like, I have no restrictions. This is amazing because we can actually have a candid conversation, which is something that I enjoy a lot more than a Q&A. So speaking of stories, and as a 90s kid myself, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about the Manisha Koirala is Khamoshi, Gupt. There is obviously 1942, A Love Story. My favorite is Khamoshi and Bombay. Right. But I want to ask you, what is your most cherished film?
I don't have a specific film, but all these films that you mentioned are something which are closer to my heart. You know, they'll say Bombay, 1942, A Love Story, Khamoshi, all of them. I've enjoyed working in each one of them.
Do you remember what was your maybe most challenging role that you had to play?
I think at that particular time, all of these were challenging. In Bombay, had a different challenge. It was in Tamil, and that's not the language that I know. Plus, Mani Ratnam is a great man, but he's a tough taskmaster. To get into that character was a lot of hard work. Even Khamoshi, you know, I had to be the daughter of a deaf and mute parent, so I had to learn the sign language. All of those films were pretty tough, but it just, you know, we just loved the story so much. We didn't mind working hard on them.
I think around the 90s and early 200s, maybe even now, but a little bit less, the industry was still pretty male-dominated at that point in time. Did you ever face any sexism in the industry?
It's all, I think gradually the fact that people are talking about it now openly is a great shift. But we have a miles to go.
Oh, definitely.
We still have to strive for equality, and it's still not there. So those days we didn't even speak about it. You know, but of course everybody felt it. Of course everyone would feel it. You know, if you see so many of my rebellious years interviews, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I really used to question, you know, even the lifestyle. The women were judged harshly, whereas men was, you know, given a very complimentary term. So it has improved a lot.
Yeah.
But still
long way
to go.
Do you think you ruffled any feathers along the way?
I might have.
There is no doubt about that. She has definitely ruffled feathers. I am pretty sure. She's such a strong woman. Come on, some of the roles, some of the characters that she's done, I don't think they would have come easy. She was starring with all the top actors, from Amitabh Bachchan to all the Khans. And she's not just starred with the Khans once. She's played...
multiple
Yeah,
times.
exactly. And that couldn't have come easy.
Yeah.
But
I want to give you your own standing. Just working with, I think, the stars was definitely not something which was which should be celebrated. You yourself are a star in your own merit, so I would celebrate that as well, right?
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
Done. The whole period when obviously you were in the thick of it, did it ever get monotonous?
It did.
It did.
And for me, it was not challenging enough.
Okay.
And for me, that's one of the reason, because I was overworking, and years after years after years, from 9 in the morning till 9 in the night, and maybe sometimes, 14, 15, 19 hours a day, 3 shifts. So it did get monotonous for me, and I started, questioning, why do I have to do this? And I guess that was the point in my life where I just went to New York to study filmmaking and took a break. Now I'm very conscious about that. I never reached that point. Now I carefully, take a long break between 2 projects. So I'm super excited about each and every project I do.
That's good. You're giving yourself time as well to enjoy every project. Speaking of which, yesterday at the Parliament, you also mentioned something that whatever you do now, you do it because you want to enjoy it. What feeds your soul now?
There's so many things, so many things. I love cinema, I love performing, but with a good director. So I wait for the best, and if I don't get that, I do other things. I go trek in the mountain. Just 3 months back, I was in Switzerland, Swiss Alps trekking. I love nature, and just walking in the nature, or be with my family. I love being with my family and friends, and I love food. I love to travel. There's so many. There's a zillion things I love.
Something a bit more intense, I guess. Again, yesterday you did share a personal experience that when you were going through your healing phase and your recovery phase, I think a lot more things became real to you where people you thought were your friends were not really around. Knowing what you know now, would you have done anything differently?
Absolutely.
Please elaborate on that.
I think I would probably preserve a lot of time. And not squander them. The 2 ways to look at life. If that hadn't happened, if that wasn't me, this probably wouldn't be me either. Because one thing leads to another, and you reach at this point. But also being a thinking person, I do wonder, and knowing what I know through my cancer journey, and knowing that life is not for eternity. There's a limited time each one of us are given on this planet, and to enjoy those moments, not to squander away. And even if I feel like crying, I will cry, and I'll say, okay, that's it. I want to get up now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste days crying.
I think a lot of it comes with experience as well. I've realized that as I grow older, I have become like that as well, where I'll be like, okay, today is my day of nothingness. Today is my day of going out. Today is my day of crying myself to sleep, and then we'll see how it goes.
Yes.
Yeah. Is fame addictive?
I really can't answer that question. Yes, one wants to be famous. Yes, one probably it'll hit me really hard. One fine day, if I get into a cab, the cab driver will ask me and say, "What do you do?" And unlike today, when I got into the cab, before I got into the cab, "Aren't you Manisha Koirala?" And I said, yeah. So I get recognized a lot, and I wonder what I'll feel if somebody didn't someday. Really? Yeah, I don't know.
I want to end it on a light note. We've had some intense conversations. This word has been kind of overused a lot, rapid fire, but we're on Popcorn Pixel, so we're going to do a fiery popcorn round. Okay? You have to be on fire. Ready? What are you currently reading?
I'm not.
Good plug-in.
Nowadays I'm not reading. I'm listening to audiobooks, and I don't want to talk about the topic right now.
It's okay. We'll keep it clean. What are you currently reading besides Asian Standard?
Besides Asian Standard, I think the same. When life is so busy, and you'll know this as journalists, we're just reading news.
Yeah. What are you currently watching?
Currently watching? Now that's a very good question, because it's the same answer. Whatever the latest film is, isn't it?
What's your next holiday destination?
I haven't planned it, but I would want to in 3 months' time to travel again.
Do you know where?
No,
Beaches or mountains?
both.
Ah, really? What about you?
At the moment, the beach.
Me too. Me too. How often do you check your social media?
Maybe 10 times a day.
Do you read comments?
I do make a point of reading a comment once a day at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you weren't an actor, what would your alternative career be?
Well, I always thought either I would be a doctor or a politician because that's what I have in my family.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you had to write your own book, which is another book, what would you like to call it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm definitely coming out with more books.
Okay.
So I don't know really. I have few topics in my this thing. Probably one I would want to explore on feminism. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the
Being a woman, basically.
Okay.
And yeah.
we're inching towards the end of the year. We're going into 2024 soon. What's on your bucket list for the next year?
You know, it's like I don't really plan that, but travel for sure, trekking for sure. Trekking, I know I will do once or twice a year for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I never think that far ahead, and it is quite far. So I think for now, just looking forward to Diwali, which is around the corner.
Oh yeah.
So just wishing everybody a happy Diwali and just being able to celebrate and enjoy loads of food. That's the main thing.
Good plans to have, and I look forward to seeing more of Asian Standard and more of you. Thank you so much.